I feel very, very passionately about this one. On every list of must-have items in my whole life, it's the worst. Absolutely freaking not. I spent so much time curating my baby registry. As a nutritionist, I'm very mindful of the things that I put in my body, that I bring into our home and put on our body. So of course that translated into the intentionality I put into building out our baby registry. I did so much research, you guys, trying to choose organic, non-toxic options when possible, but also not being fearful and obsessive, trying to figure out what products are just absolute marketing gimmicks and completely overhyped, not wanting to spend money on things that we didn't need. And now that I'm a few months into this, my baby is 5 months old. How is that even possible? I can give an honest review, completely brutally honest review for you of the things that we have loved that I think you absolutely need. Some of the items I was incredibly shocked that I thought I was going to love that I absolutely hated, and some of the things that I think you will be completely shocked to hear I believe are so overhyped, unnecessary, not good for your baby, and I'm just gonna save you from wasting your money on. So to keep this simple, I have broken this into 6 categories: feeding, sleeping, diapering, bathing, adventuring, and playing. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be so good. I'm so excited. So let's start with feeding, because however you choose to feed your child, the #1 thing you will be doing with your baby. And we're gonna start off with a banger here, and I'm gonna share with you something that I registered for that I absolutely hated, which is the My Breast Friend, see, I can't even say it, My Breast Friend breastfeeding pillow. Okay, here's my honest review of this one. I had a lot of registry recommendations, even like real life friends who loved this product, said it was one of their favorites, that it really helped them when breastfeeding. I hated it. It was so clunky. It was hard to put on. I felt like I had this huge contraption on me, and it was so hot. I got so hot and sweaty every time I put that thing on. It was just, didn't like it. I don't even have it here to show you anymore because I donated it ASAP. But what I have loved is this Snuggle Me Organic version. This thing is amazing. First of all, it's just like more aesthetically pleasing. It's not hot and sweaty. It's just easy to like wrap around yourself. This is one item because I really did, across everything, I really tried to ask myself when any list said this is what you need for a baby, I'm like, but do you? Do you? And I was like, do I really need a breastfeeding pillow? Like, I have other pillows. I love it. I love it because especially in those first few months, you will spend so many hours of your day feeding your baby. If you are breastfeeding, you're just like constantly bent over. You get the worst kinked neck and shoulders, like everything hurts, because if you are not properly bringing your baby up to you, you're like bending your body down to your baby, and it just, everything hurts. So obviously I don't need this to breastfeed my baby, but especially when I'm spending hours of the day, it just helps a lot. And even if you're not breastfeeding, when my lovely husband bottle feeds our baby, he still likes this to kind of like prop her up and get her in a good position to bottle feed her. So whether or not you're breastfeeding, maybe not like necessity, but a huge luxury that saved me a lot of pain and time, and I just love this. Next up is one of my most passionate baby items, and that is the Hakas. Now I have 3 versions, and I'm gonna talk you through all 3 of them, okay? So first of all, if you've never breastfed a baby, what you need to know is every time you're feeding your baby on one side, you have a milk letdown where your milk comes in and comes out. You are going to have a letdown on the other side. Sometimes it's a tiny bit, sometimes it's a lot, but especially in those early weeks when your body is running off of supply and not demand, or it's not calibrating to your baby yet, it's just making what it thinks it needs to make, you will leak a ton of milk on the side that you're not feeding on. So I personally hate pumping. I've basically only exclusively breastfed my baby. I didn't want to deal with pumping, but these have helped me build such a huge milk stash. Basically, the best things about the Hakas is one piece. It's silicone, so you're not dealing with plastic leaching chemicals into your baby's milk. This is the flower pot, I think is what they call it. It's like the OG Haka. And essentially you just like squeeze it and it suctions into your breast, and the combination of just like being there to catch your letdown as well as like suctioning helps to pull milk out. So in the first 6 weeks, every time I fed Tegan on the other breast, I used one of these to collect more milk. This one works, but I don't love it because it just like literally sticks out like this, and she can kick it off. It's just clunky. So this is the next one that I registered for, which is called the Ladybug. And the thing about this is it's nice and convenient because it slips right into your bra. This one does not have as much suction though. So this is more so a milk catcher versus a milk collector. Carrie Locker has an amazing breakdown on all this stuff. Definitely recommend checking it out. But basically, a milk catcher is something that's going to catch your letdown, but it has zero suction, so it is not pulling anything additional off. You have to be careful because you don't want to be overstimulating and creating too much of an oversupply, which is something that I did deal with early on. Potentially it could be because I was continually pulling more milk out than I really needed, but this is nice because it catches your milk and it doesn't have a ton of suction, but it like fits into your bra. This is called the Shell. This is the newest, I believe, at least when I built out my registry, the newest version of the Haka, and it's basically a combo between these two because it fits into your bra. So when you've got boob out and baby on this side, you can just slip this inside your bra on the other side, and you can kind of control how much suction you want to put on it. You can like get it kind of tight so it's really pulling, or more so just like set it there so it's just collecting. But basically every time I fed my baby, I was catching like at least an ounce of milk. I was getting like 16 to 20 ounces a day that I was not having to pump, but building up my stash in my freezer. And that is a huge piece of mind relief. If you're feeding your baby, you don't know what's gonna happen to your supply, you know you've got to stock. The Shell is like my ride or die. I just love this thing. It's the best. And again, like pumps, I hate pumping so much. The whole other topic. This is just so convenient. It's easy to wash. It's the best. So if you're gonna be breastfeeding, highly recommend. If you only get one, definitely get the Shell, but I think these two are also, like, this one's great to have too. Okay, let's talk burp cloths. I registered for a big pack. In fact, I think I got like a couple packs of these, which in the beginning I did like having, and I do still like having these around. They're soft, they're easy to wash. I like having everything in white because I can throw it all in a big white load in the laundry and use my oxygen boost and get it nice and clean. Also, people are like, oh, white gets so dirty. Everything that is dirty from your baby is milk. It's just white, so white's better anyways. And we also use these as her washcloths when we do her bath, so just double duty there. Great. But if you're choosing, I would say absolute essential is some of these muslin blankets. You need a lot of these in my opinion, especially when Tegan got more like gassy, colicky, spit uppy. She would just like projectile spit up, not just like a little milk dribbling out. You just need these because you can chuck it over your shoulder, pat her, burp her, and then also I like to use these as blankets to like drape over her if she's chilly. In the car, I love to drape this on her because it's not hot, especially because we've been dealing with Texas summers, but she loves to just like have this to touch and play with and chew on. You need a million of these. I have like a big variety. I've got some with like cutesy designs on them. This came in, I think, a 2-pack from Amazon. Like you need a handful. Like you want them all over. You want them in the car, you want them in every room. This is over my shoulder. She would still just like spit up everywhere, all over my shirt. So if you're choosing, definitely you need a few of these. Okay, now let's talk bottles. This is another thing I could go on a whole tangent on. I did work with a lactation consultant. Tegan had a tongue and lip tie. We kind of had a lot of different things we were dealing with. My fast letdown that was like choking her out. There was a lot of stuff going on. Breastfeeding is the best thing in the whole entire world, but it ain't easy. You gotta work for it for sure. So we went through some highs and lows with bottle feeding. There were weeks and weeks and months where I was giving every single feed straight off the source. But thankfully now we are at a place where she is getting one bottle every night from my husband. He puts her to bed. It's just the best. It's such good bonding time for them. And I get to go take a bath and take care of myself. We have loved these, I think you say it, Gallicula glass bottles. I wanted something that was glass and not plastic, especially anything where the milk is heated. I want it to be glass. I just don't want to deal with plastic. These have been great. They are really slow drip anti-colic. She has actually a lot less colic and gas issues when she's bottle fed off this versus my breast because I have a fast letdown. Again, whole other thing. But these have been great. I think they came in like a 5-pack. I accidentally broke one. I mean, that is kind of the risk with a glass bottle. When I was trying to clean it, I broke it. I mean, unless you're doing like a million bottles a day, for us, since we do so few bottles, you definitely only need 1 pack. But yeah, she's done really well with this, and this was recommended by my lactation consultant as a good option for a breastfed baby. So this is great. One of my absolute favorite items from this entire list is this specific muslin nursing cover because there's a lot of covers that are like these big clunky things that you put over you. Sometimes I will just like use one of these, right? And just try to like cover her. But especially in those early months when baby is like having a hard time latching, or if you're like me and you're like spraying milk everywhere and it's just like kind of a messy process. When I've done this in public, I have definitely flashed people like, you don't need that. So this nursing cover is amazing because it has this little like wire piece in it that comes out and wraps around your neck. You have all the coverage you need, but you can peek down and see your baby without having to like lift it up. It's just all the access you need to see baby instead of baby being like choked out by one of these things. It is amazing. One of my absolute favorites of this entire list. So good. Okay, last one in the feeding category. Does this count as feeding? I don't know. It is these Camellia tummy drops. Guys, we had such miserable gas and colic. My poor sweet baby. We have worked through the root cause of all of it. She is so much better now. But these are amazing because there are a lot of different medications and things on the market that I personally did not feel comfortable giving my baby. As much as humanly possible, I want to keep things natural. I mean, essentially the biggest thing is to get to the root cause, which whole other topic. These are homeopathic, so they are fully supportive. They help her body create the response that it needs to ease her discomfort. I love them because they come in these little plastic tubes where you can just keep these. It's already dosed out for you. All you have to do is like pop the top off, squeeze them in her mouth. She loves them. Like she literally knows when it's coming and she's like, ah, and they absolutely work. And I just feel comfortable giving her this because I know it's natural, it's safe, peace of mind and ease and comfort for all of us. Definitely recommend, even before you know if your baby's gonna have gas, just have these on hand. I think this is like my 6th box of these at this point. Okay, besides eating all the time, the biggest thing your newborn is going to do is sleep. So let's talk about sleeping. Of course, right here behind me, you need a crib. I guess you don't need a crib. We got a crib. The crib is a Pottery Barn Green Guard certified, but I got it secondhand off Facebook Marketplace, so I saved a ton of money. That's an example of something like I kind of was choosy about what I was willing to get secondhand or not. A lot of items where I know there's like soft surfaces that could be covered in people's gunk, I just didn't really want, but something like this, in my opinion, is perfect. Her dresser, lots of things in here we got secondhand. Mattress, she's spending so many hours of her day breathing on this mattress. I wanted to know that it was going to be non-toxic and safe. I did a lot of research in this category and we ended up going with the Nursery crib mattress. I feel really good about the ingredients and the products inside this, knowing that she's not breathing in harmful toxins. It comes with a really great non-toxic mattress protector, and then I also got the sheets that came with it too. I've loved that. She slept great on it. Feel good about that. But if you're like me, you likely will not have your baby sleeping in their crib for the first however many weeks. They will probably be with you in your room. And this is another area that I have an item that I didn't love as much as I was hoping. So I really, before she came, spent a lot of time researching sleep and just, I didn't know, were we gonna wanna co-sleep? Like, do I want her in our room? Do we want to sleep train? Like all those things. Sleep has definitely been one of the most stressful parts of being a parent and deciding how to navigate that. But where I landed was like, okay, I think we're gonna want her close to us in our room, but I want to know she has a safe place to be. So I landed on wanting some kind of like bedside bassinet. I went with the Halo bassinet because I liked that it was something that could be on our bed. Like she could be so close to me where we were almost bed sharing and co-sleeping, but I knew that she was on somewhere safe. I wasn't gonna like roll over her, smother her with our blankets. I was really excited about this Halo bassinet. My sister-in-law and her mother were so kind to gift it to us. We were literally so excited. In fact, when you watch my birth vlog, it is like right there because we had just set it up, had it ready to go. Y'all, that's how fast my home birth went. We didn't even have time to move this stuff around. Like it was just chilling there. I kind of have mixed feelings about it. Like I loved having her close to me. I did really like how I could like bring it over onto the bed so she was really close. I was essentially like cuddling around her so she felt close, like I could always peek in and check on her. But my biggest complaint about this thing is the freaking legs, which I understand is probably like a safety thing to make sure it's nice and stable. I cannot tell you how many nights I stubbed my freaking toes on the legs of this bassinet. I cannot tell you how many times Cashmere is snoozing next to me and I'm trying not to scream because I've stubbed my toe. It just sticks out so far, and if you have it like right next to you on your bed, it is almost impossible to like get around because I had my nightstand and it just kind of felt a little bit clunky, to be honest. Now, with that being said, I don't know if I would have preferred something else. So one thing we didn't register for, but I ended up buying that I absolutely loved and would recommend was a Moses basket. Because we got this bassinet, I was like, we don't need another place for her to sleep. Like, she's got the bassinet, she's got the crib when she's ready. Just because the way we didn't love the bassinet, and part of the approach we decided to take, especially in those early months, was we just really wanted her to be exposed to as much light and sound and noise as possible. We wanted to make her an adaptable sleeper. So we really liked having her out in the living room with us. If that's where we were, we wanted her there. Now, the Halo bassinet, you can remove the top on and like bring it into the living room, but it was just like too heavy for me to move. It was just clunky. Anyways, I ended up buying off Facebook Marketplace secondhand a beautiful Moses basket. Absolutely loved that because it was so easy to pick up and move around, plop her in whenever she was napping, have her wherever I was. I could go upstairs into my office while she was sleeping. You can pick it up and like really easily kind of rock her a little if she's not settling. So maybe for baby number 2, instead of using the Halo, what I would do is get like a rocking base for the Moses basket and have her bedside to us like in that. I don't know, we'll have to see. But that is something I was kind of surprised by. Next, absolute essential sleeping item is a Himalayan salt lamp. And I don't even know how many times in my life at this point I have told you guys that if you are not using a salt lamp, like what are you doing? It is truly, no exaggeration, like on every list of must-have items in my whole life everywhere pre-baby. I cannot live without my salt lamp. Here's the reason. One of the most important things you can do to protect your sleep, your baby's sleep, is to not have blue light exposure after nighttime. The reason I love pink salt lamp so much is because you get that really soft, warm red light glow. It's all natural. It doesn't like freak your eyes out and wake you up at night. I have the night lights plugged in our bathroom, so when I have to get up to pee, I don't have to flip on that huge, terrible overhead light. So in those early weeks when she was with us in our bedroom, I had it on my nightstand. I mean, I still use it on my nightstand, but we also have one in her room. They're not even expensive. Here's the thing, guys. I actually bought a bunch of different night lights. Like, I tried things afterwards because I was like, maybe I need something that's just like easier. I saw people like highly recommending these egg things that you just like flip over and they turn on, but they were so bright and yellow and just, I hated the way that they felt. I love our salt lamp. It is like the dreamiest, warmest, coziest glow. It's the best. So absolutely no questions asked. One of my absolute top nursery essentials. You need a salt lamp. And the best part about it is that it has a dimmer on it. So you can like barely flick it on at night. When she cries now, when she's in this room and I come in to feed her, I'll just like put it on just enough for me to see what I need to see as I feed her, but not enough to wake us both up. Salt lamp, do it. Final item in the sleep category is a rocking chair / glider. Now, this is another thing that I wasn't really sure, like, do we really need? Because I feel like people feel strongly one of both ways, like absolute essential, you need this, or like we bought one, but we like hardly ever used it. I am so glad that we got this at the last minute as a part of our nursery prep because we lived and still live in this chair. Now, my sweet, perfect baby was a little bit smushed in my womb and we dealt with a lot of torticollis and issues with her body, which meant she hated sleeping on her back. So that was a little bit hard to navigate, but her favorite place to be was on our chest. Now, I didn't always, especially in those first weeks, feel comfortable with her like sleeping on us in our bed, but I would sleep with her in the chair. One of us would sleep with her in the chair. It is still my favorite place to feed her. I mean, I can feed her anywhere in our house and I will just whip a boob out wherever I need to, but I love coming in here and rocking her in the chair. I love the contact naps in the chair. We'll just kick back, enjoy it. It is an absolute essential in my opinion. Now, this is an item that I truly almost spent a crap ton of money on my dream chair, but I just could not rationalize spending that much on one piece of furniture. This is like the best dupe because it looks just as beautiful, but it is a fraction of the price. Absolutely worth every single penny. It's been amazing. Okay, next category, diapering, because besides eating and sleeping, the main thing your baby's gonna do is pee and poop. So you gotta clean a lot of diapers. Now, I am pretty crunchy. I am not crunchy enough for cloth reusable diapers. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna lie, I did not even consider it. So I knew that I wanted some version of disposable, throw in the trash, change 10,000 times a day diapers. But of course, this is one thing that I was really mindful of. I did not want to be putting parabens and phthalates and chlorine and lots of chemicals in a very important sensitive part of my baby's body. So I did a lot of research on all the different brands. I ended up subscribing to Every Life. I have loved the product itself, but I also love what they stand for as a company. Every Life is a Christian-based company. They believe that every life is a miracle and a gift from above and deserves to be protected and provided for. So with your purchase, they donate diapers to pregnancy centers to help moms choose life, but they also make an amazing diaper. Now, the only two brands that we have used at all is Every Life and Honest. When we traveled to visit my parents, I had some Honest ones shipped to my mom just so I didn't have to travel with them. Got those off Amazon and I hated them. She peed through her diapers all the time when I used those Honest ones. Like, they were not nearly as well performing as these. These do such an amazing job. I mean, of course, we've had blowouts because you're gonna have a newborn baby, you're gonna have blowouts, but in general, we've had very few and they've been great. Diapers, wipes, I get the subscription from Every Life, which is so easy and convenient because it's like on a bundle. I get them shipped to my doorstep. They text me before each bundle goes out to ask if I need size up to a new size or if we need to like slow down or up our order. It's so easy. It is so easy. Never running out of diapers. It's perfect. And then diaper balm. I have really loved this diaper balm from Mother Love. Really great ingredients. It works really well. It keeps everything away, protects her skin. Between the diapers, wipes, and this diaper balm, knock on wood, almost 6 months in, my baby has not had a single diaper rash. And so I really think that it's the fact that we've chosen good quality products to put on her skin. Not cheap, but you just need a tiny bit. It's not like I put it on every time I change her diaper, especially now as she really only goes like once a day. I know when it's coming. So I'll like put it on when I think she's gonna poop and then I put it on after. It lasts a while. It's great. Continuing to talk about baby skin, let's jump to bathing. In all my research trying to decide what to register for, I couldn't really decide what to do when it came to like a baby bath tub seat. We have a wonderful tub in our bathroom that I love to take baths in myself, but I was like, do we want to bathe her in there? We love our big farmhouse sink in our kitchen. I was like, that sounds a lot easier, but I was like, do I want to buy a big product that I have to store? We ended up going with the Skip Hot bathtub. It's like $20 from Target or something, and I do really like it. Now, as you've seen from things I've already talked about, I really try to minimize plastic, especially when it comes to anything that's like touching her skin and in heat. But I will tell you, we have loved this thing. First of all, we don't bathe her very often, like maybe once a week. That might change now as she starts eating like real foods. But the reason I really like this is because we do bathe her in the sink, which is just way more comfortable and convenient because we can like stand up and not be completely bent over trying to bathe her. But we don't have to like completely sanitize our sink every time we use it because you can just put the water in this little tub and then use washcloths to just like, you know, suds her up, wipe her down. She loves it. She loves it. Bath time is kind of one thing I've let Cashmere really take the reins on. He's given her every bath she's had. Sometimes I'm there. Most of the time I'm not. I'm taking a bath myself, but it's really sweet bonding time for them. So we have really liked that. It is kind of a pain because you have to store it, but we just rinse it out after we use it and hang it in our garage where I know it can like drip, dries up, works great. Now baby soap, we have used this Attitude brand Baby Leaves. This is amazing. It's EWG verified, which is huge for me because I know it is absolutely free of any of the toxic product chemicals, harsh chemicals, things I don't want to put on her skin. I also like that it just has a very soft, subtle, kind of milky scent, so it doesn't take away from that beautiful baby scent. It's just like her smelling as good and fresh and not flowery or chemically. And again, we've had like no diaper rashes, any issues like that. Her skin has done really well. The only other things I have put on her skin have been from Primally Pure, the Baby Balm, which is a tallow-based cream, and then the baby oil. Like, you cannot get cleaner ingredients than these products. They are so quality. I mean, Primally Pure, you guys know at this point, I'm obsessed. It's what I use on my own skin. I've been using it for years now. It's the only natural deodorant that has worked for me. Like, I love their products. So naturally, it's what I use for Tegan, and her skin has done so well. She has hardly had like any baby acne at all. She had like the tiniest little bit of cradle cap. Her skin has done good, and I like knowing that I'm putting good stuff on her, that it's not going to cause hormone issues for her later on in life. All right, next category is adventuring, which really just means on the go. Some items that we have loved and needed to go out and adventure and be on the go. We've got to talk carriers, which is probably my absolute favorite baby item of all time and my favorite thing to talk about, because I feel very, very passionately about this one. So I have used 3 carriers, and I will give you my honest review on all 3 of them. Before I even conceived Tegan, as we spent years just dreaming of having a baby, the #1 thing that I was like most excited for, that I just always envisioned as I was dreaming and praying and asking the Lord for what we wanted, I just saw myself baby wearing and carrying my baby. And it was truly the thing I was most excited to register for and have, just knowing that I wanted to wear my baby everywhere. So the 3 carriers that I have had used, here's my honest reviews. The Solly wrap. This is amazing. We registered for one of these. I got it in like the checker, because again, we didn't know baby's gender before she was here. So our whole registry was gender neutral. This is a beautiful soft floral print that a friend gave me after we knew it was Tegan. Because my recovery was so rough in those early days and I was hardly getting off the couch, Cashmere literally, when she was like 48 hours old, was putting her in these Solly wraps and wearing her around the house, out in the yard. That man got it down. I loved watching him wear her in those first weeks, and then when I was strong enough to wear her myself, I loved it. The nice thing about the Solly wrap is it's so comfortable. It's really great for those early newborn days when they're just like so tiny and squishy and they're just in that newborn scrunch all the time. It's the best. And it's very comfortable to sit in and to sleep in. So lots of contact naps in those early weeks when they are asleep like 20 hours a day. Wrap this around, cozy up on the couch. It's the best. You can continue to use it when your baby's bigger, but my issue with this, it just kind of takes a while to put on. Like, it's not hard. Once you get it, it is easy, but it's like not the most convenient if you're out running errands and taking it on and off 4 times. It just takes a little bit. So that is why I registered for literally the #1 item on my registry I was the most excited for was the Artie Pop carrier. And here, y'all, this is important. Here's my honest review. I was so excited about this. I was like, okay, this is expensive, but I know I'm gonna baby wear it. I know we're gonna have multiple kids and I'm gonna use this thing for years. Like, I know I'm gonna love this. It's high quality. Everyone I know that has it just absolutely raves about it. I was like, this is gonna be great. We had multiple family members go in on it for us. I was like so excited about it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it as much as I thought I would. I do love the reasons I thought I would love it. It's like so easy, it's comfortable, it is supportive, but here's my biggest hang up with the freaking Artie Pop. The waistband is huge and tall and really structured, and it is very uncomfortable to sit in. So what we often do is we wear her when we're out, when we go to church, when we go to brunch, when we go out to eat, and it's just not comfortable to sit in. So I personally, for that reason, just was not loving it as much as I thought I would. I did more research and I ended up purchasing a maybe carrier, which through my research, I was like, I think this is going to be exactly everything I love about the Artie Pop, but it's going to have a more comfortable waistband. And that's exactly what it has been. It has been my absolute favorite. If I were starting from scratch, I would not get the Artie Pop. It's literally, the maybe is like a quarter of the price. It is just as good, if not better. It is my favorite. I have it in my car at all times. Every time we go out, I use the carrier. If I were truly starting from scratch, I would want 2 maybes instead of 1 Artie Pop, because I love having the Artie Pop at home that stays in our garage, that I have at home if I need to wear her, and then I only keep the maybe in my car, and then anytime I'm out, I'm never like, oh no, I left it at home, because I've done that and it's the worst. So having one that stays in the car is really convenient if you can pull that off. So while we're talking carriers, let's talk strollers. This is another thing that kind of shocked me. I did, again, a ton of research on strollers, and I ended up going with the Cybex Gazelle S. The reason I did this, it's basically an equivalent of like the UPPAbaby, or what's the other really popular one? The Cybex can be a double stroller, which is why I wanted it, but it's a little bit more versatile than the UPPAbaby, for example. It has a heavier weight limit on the top one or the bottom one. I forget. I don't know. There's multiple reasons. It also also had the Nuna infant insert. So this whole shindig, this is how this shook out. I went with the Cybex because I was like, okay, we're gonna have the stroller part when she's big enough to fit in the stroller seat, but we can also just pop the newborn car seat in it and then be able to use it like a stroller with a newborn car seat. We had friends who so graciously re-gifted us their hand-me-down Nuna Pipit infant car seats, and I was so excited to be able to use it with the stroller. I literally used that like maybe twice. Here's the thing, my baby hated, and I mean hated, the car seat. Like, don't even get me started. Every time we were in the car, it was like a scream fest. I can't even, I feel it in my body just thinking about how many times I was having to drive that baby, like hearing her scream. There's nothing harder as a mom than hearing your baby just in that much discomfort and not being able to fix it. Like, it was the worst. So for that reason, I could not get my baby out of the car seat fast enough. So I did not use my stroller because she hated being sat in anything like that. She hated being on her back. She hated it. She loved being carried and worn in the carrier. So anytime I was out where I might have used the stroller, I've been using the carrier. It's just a million times easier. Also, like, if you're in Costco pushing a shopping cart and you're trying to juggle a stroller, like, it's chaotic. So I personally love the carrier for anything on the go. I mean, even as she gets bigger, I think I'm going to continue to love it. I don't want to say I won't use my Cybex stroller, but I have used it way less than I thought I would. The thing that we ended up not registering for but buying that I have loved is a jogger. So if I was absolutely starting from scratch and knew everything I knew about my baby, I would not have gotten the Cybex stroller. I would have just gotten a carrier and the jogger, because now that I am healthy enough to be running again and we are out running and walking all the time, training for another half marathon, we needed an actual jogger. Like, the stroller, just, you can't run with that thing. It's not great. So we did end up getting the Thule, I think that's how you say it, Thule, and that has been amazing. We've been running with her. She loves it. It does well on the trails. It pushes, it glides nice, like, it's easy to run with. Now, if you're not a runner, you'll never be a runner. You might not need a jogger and just get a stroller that you can walk with. But for us, the jogger has been an absolute essential, and I'm so glad to have it. On the go diaper bag, naturally. I went with the Ayla & Co diaper bag, and I have absolutely loved it. It's beautiful. It's very functional. It just looks nice. It feels very high quality. It feels like it's going to last. It has all the right pockets for all the right things. That is one of the things I was like, do I need a diaper bag? Will I really use it? Yes. I actually registered for the Ayla & Co mini, thinking like, oh, I'll get the small one. We don't need like that much. I ended up exchanging it and upgrading to the regular, like, larger size one, and I'm really glad that I did, because once you have diapers, wipes, your nursing cover, extra clothes, all the little toys, like, now that she's big enough to need like teething toys and have some things when we're out, having extra like muslin blankets, all of it fills up fast. I don't even bottle feed. Like, if you are someone who's going to be bottle feeding, like, yeah, you definitely need a diaper bag with enough space to have actual bottles and formula. So for sure, have loved that. But what I will say, I shared this tip on Instagram already. One of my favorite hacks is not just my diaper bag, but my trunk organizer. Okay, so in the trunk of my car, I have a space where I of course have like some of my natural, normal trunk essentials, like my reusable grocery bags that I bring in every time I go get groceries. But it's also become my place, number one, to house my diaper bag and my carrier. But I also always keep extra diapers, wipes, changing pad, some of the extra essentials too, like we have sunscreen and bug spray and things like that in there, so that when we just like go out and go to the park, it's just all there. It's always there. So every time I take her out of the house and we're going somewhere, all I have to do is grab her. Like, the trunk is stocked, it's ready to go, the diaper bag's already in the car. It just simplifies everything. I'll just change her right there in the back of the car instead of running into the store or like into a bathroom. It's so much easier. Then I just have my little purse with me. I'm wearing her in the carrier. I'm pushing a shopping cart. Like, it's so much easier. But if I'm like going into a restaurant where I know I'm going to feed her, I want the whole diaper bag to have all the necessities. It's there for me to grab when I need it. So that is something that I didn't like know or research or plan for, but has just kind of executed since having her, and it has been an absolute game changer. So consider a trunk organizer as a part of your registry. It is a game changer. Now, final category is playing. I didn't really know like what else to call this. You know, we got to keep our ings going. Let's talk playing. One thing that I, again, going back to my crunchy side, my research side, I was really mindful of of knowing that I didn't want to put her in a lot of containers. I didn't want to buy all these swings and seats. Ultimately, as much as possible, I just want her on the ground where she's exploring her own body, building her own strength. We know that that is what's best for baby's development. So generally, if I'm doing anything with her, it's just on the floor. I just pop her on the floor. But the one seat that I did register for that I have really loved is the Baby Bjorn bouncer. I didn't want to get like one of those bouncers where they're like kind of sitting up, because I knew ergonomically I didn't want that. But I have really loved the Baby Bjorn because, number one, my baby did have lots of colic and gas issues, and she hated being on her back. So just like laying her on the floor on her back was not always her favorite. So the nice thing about the Baby Bjorn is you can control like what angle you want it at. So I always have had it at the highest angle where she's like more upright. So she, even as a newborn, could sit in that but be more upright, which is just really nice after you feed your baby and you like can't lay her down right away because she's gonna everywhere. It's also just really convenient to have like in the kitchen, for example, if I want to have her close, if she's not comfortable on the floor, but I can't wear her because I'm like moving hot pots of water in the kitchen, stuff like that. It is just really nice to have a safe place to set your baby down and know that she's safe, she's not going anywhere, and she's doing okay. So I have definitely loved that one for sure. And I know that it's going to continue to grow with her. Now that she's bigger and she's like really moving and shaking and kicking around, she's bouncing it a lot herself. That's one of the things I liked about it, that it was like responsive. And now she's like working on her crunches. When I look over, instead of just like lounging in it, she's like trying to sit up, which is great. Without being falsely supported, she's practicing that herself as she's practicing sitting. Now, one item that was on, I feel like everyone's list and registry was the Love Every Play Gym. And I was like, do I need it? It's kind of ugly. Like do I need it? But we ended up registering for it last minute, and I am so glad we did. It is not overhyped. I get why people love it because my baby loves this thing. She loved laying under the black and white cards and looking at them, and she would just lay there and kick for minutes at a time. And this was the one thing, as we finally got out of that like really tough newborn stage where she would not let me set her down, this would keep her occupied for sometimes up to like 30 minutes on her own, which, as you know, if you get there, like that's a big deal. This is what allows me to go take a shower or even to go pee when you have to set your baby down and go pee and just not hear her screaming her head off. Like, she loves laying on her back under this thing. She loves playing with the little rattle and the little ball and the little teether thing that hang down. And then it's also really great for tummy time too. As you're practicing flipping her over, there's lots of stuff for her to touch and play with. It's the best. In fact, it is the one thing that I packed up and brought with us when we traveled to my parents' house. We got on a plane. I literally was like, we need the big suitcase because we gotta like bring this thing with us. It's amazing. It's worth it for sure. Now, obviously, when it comes to playing, there are some things that we have really loved. I'll say kind of like 3 categories. Teething toys. We've had a couple of our favorite like silicone teethers. She really likes those silicone straws, and then the little strawberry has been her favorite to teeth on. But again, that's not like immediate newborn needs, but it's worth registering for because you're gonna need it before you know it. These are kind of like her favorite early toys. This I feel like everywhere I kept seeing people talk about how much their babies loved this, and it's true. She loves this. This was really like the first thing that she could hold and grab and play with and try to stick in her mouth, even though she can't eat it. But it's easy for them to hold, so it's a really good first toy. This was a gift from my sister-in-law. It's really cute. It's like all the colors of the rainbow and fruits and veggies. But these crinkle books are amazing. In the last month or two, this has been like her favorite because she can play with it. It's like responsive, she can kick on it, she loves those. And then I would just say books to read. That is one of my favorite things that we did with our registry and our baby showers. We asked everyone, instead of giving a card, to pick out a book, write a little note to baby Mason, and let it be something that we could grow our library with and get to see like who gifted it to her. And so it's been so fun, like my absolute favorite thing to do with her every day. My goal is to read her 5 books every day, and we have some favorites. Now, I share this because we have a lot of books and a lot of them are terrible. As a believer, sometimes I'm like, this is not great. Like, even some of the quote unquote should be Christian ones, I'm like, I don't know about this. Finn the Firefly, absolute favorite. I read this one every single day. It's so cute. I'm so glad you were born. This might be my favorite one. It's so sweet. It is so sweet. I really love When I Pray for You. This one makes me sob all the time. Like, I truly cry almost every time I read it to her. And then this is a new one I got too, The Storm That Stopped. This is really cute. These books are telling stories of the Bible, but in a really beautifully illustrative way. You can't have enough books for sure. Like, you need all the books. Okay, here is where I'm gonna get really juicy. I was thinking about what items do we not have? Like, as I've gone through, those are my favorite baby essentials. You might be like, oh, Molly, where's your... Let's talk about the things I think you don't need, the things that we did not register for, have not purchased, and still don't have. Number one on the list is a baby monitor. I know. What? How could we possibly? I feel like people literally lose their minds when they hear that we don't have a baby monitor or a camera or any kind of sleep monitor. I'm just gonna be totally honest. I don't see why we need it. First of all, literally the only thing in her bedroom that I have that plugs in is her salt lamp. Like, I have tried to keep EMFs and digital things as minimal as possible. She does not need them. I don't want to expose her to Wi-Fi and EMFs if I don't need to, especially right next to her face where she's sleeping for hours and hours and hours a day. And also, like, why? I don't need it. I can hear her when she wakes up. Trust me, I hear her when she cries. We haven't needed it. I'm going to be honest, now that I'm like back to work and I'm often during her naps upstairs in my office working, there are times where I'm like, wait, is she crying? And I like have to get really quiet and be like, am I hearing it? Because you know, as a mom, you will hear those phantom baby cries. Lately, I've been wanting to go out into our garage / driveway to do some workouts, and I'm like, maybe that's an example of where I might like having a monitor to know if she's waking up. But I think, first of all, just not wanting to expose her to unnecessary things, but also watching so many of my friends like obsess over their baby monitor and be like, is she sleeping? Is she sleeping? Has she fallen asleep? Oh my gosh, is she awake? I just felt like we didn't need it. So here to say, almost 6 months in, we have not needed it. Maybe, I'm not saying never, maybe we will still get one, but at this point, we haven't needed it. Bottle sterilizer, cleaner, all those things, absolutely unnecessary. Again, I know I'm saying that as a mom who has mostly breastfed and only does 1, maybe 2 bottles a day. So maybe I would feel differently if I was fully bottle feeding my baby and doing a bunch of bottles a day. With that said, I put everything through our normal dishwasher, even like my hot goods and stuff. I don't sterilize anything. Bottle warmer, we actually just, since I like created this list last week and I'm now finally sitting down to record this, we just ordered one of these because we have my stash of milk in the freezer, and because Catherine is doing a bottle every night, we would find that depending on what time we thought to take the milk out of the freezer, sometimes it was still cold and it was taking him forever to put hot water in the mason jar to put the bottle in, and we're like, maybe we should try this. Like, it's pretty cheap. If it saves us ease and time, it might be worth it. So we have tested that the last couple nights. We're still trying to decide whether it's worth it or not. We might be turning it back. But these are perfect examples, y'all. One of the things you can always do is just wait and decide if you need it, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with me getting months in and being like, maybe this is worth it now. I would rather take that approach than register for and buy a ton of items that you never use that are such a waste, that just take up space. A wipe warmer, absolutely freaking not. That was what I thought when I was building my registry. Like, no. Because then is my baby gonna cry when I have a wipe out in the cold in the car when I'm changing her on the go? Absolutely not. The Doona, okay? We do not have the Doona. Again, this is an item where all of my friends were like, you need the Doona. Going back to like, every baby is different. My baby hated the car seat. I could not get her out of the car seat fast enough. So if I spent all that money on a car seat that turns into a stroller for the purpose of easily being able to like pop her into a store and out of a store, it wouldn't have worked for us anyway. So I'm really glad we did not buy it. The Snoo. Again, I mean, talk about EMFs in your baby's brain. But even like, regardless of that, part of my philosophy with motherhood so far, I just keep coming back to like, how did God make us? How were we designed? What is the most natural? I just feel like there's so many baby items on the market where the whole purpose is to spend all this money on an item that like shortcuts the way we were designed. The snoo is created to respond to your baby's cries, to comfort them with movement and shushing and all the things that as a parent you naturally do. Now, again, I know I'm saying this from a place of having a baby that has been a pretty decent sleeper. So maybe if I had a baby who like literally didn't sleep for months and months and months, like I would be willing to try something like this. But again, going back to like, I wanted my default to be not needing the thing. I don't want my baby to be reliant on anything other than me. So that goes back to a sound machine. She has not for a single night of her life slept with a sound machine. We have curtains and we shut them at night, but during the day when she naps with the door open, she naps with the blinds open. Like I want her to be exposed to light. I want her to be exposed to sound. I want her to not need these like perfect conditions to sleep. I know that my comments might be all up in them with people who have decided to sleep train their babies and use sound machines and blackout curtains and sleeping tents and sleep sacks and swaddles and all the things that we decided not to pursue. To each their own, truly. Like I truly mean that. You need to figure out as a parent what works for you, and you need to trust your instincts. Like that is my number one piece of advice in all of this. As I've shared my essentials with you, the things that I love, my number one piece of advice, trust your gut, trust your baby. Every baby is different. So baby number 2 that hopefully is coming for us sometime soon, this might be completely different. I might have a baby who loves being on their back and loves the car seat, and maybe I will use my stroller instead of my carrier. Like, I don't know. All that to say, like there's so many things that you are being told. Hear me say this. You are being told that you need that you don't need. There's so many things. Baby needs you. Your baby needs milk, safety, warmth, comfort. That's it. Seriously, like a safe place to be and sleep. So clearly I feel very passionate about some of this, but I say that with all the encouragement in the world. I want you to hear, you are your baby's mama for a reason. Trust your instincts. Trust that God made you to know what works for you and what doesn't. Have the freedom and the confidence to learn as you go and say, this didn't work for us. This is working for us. Just know you can always buy something later. Like personally, that's the approach we took. Let's keep the essentials as minimal as possible. Let's just start with what we know for sure we'll need, and we can always buy something later. Like trust me, there have been so many Amazon purchases that have come in later on. Lots of these things that I bought later. You can get it pretty darn fast. Like you're gonna be okay. Okay, this has already been way too long as normal. So we're gonna wrap it up here. I hope this was helpful and encouraging. You've got this. You've got this. And seriously, I'm not kidding. I would highly encourage you, spend even more time preparing for your birth and your plans for how you want to parent and raise your baby and the life you want to create together. That matters a lot more than your registry. I say that as a girl who spent a lot of freaking time researching my registry. There's a lot more important things to prepare for, so spend your time on that. I know I said a lot of pretty controversial things, so I really would love to hear from mamas in the comments. What are your newborn essentials? Did I say anything that you completely disagree with? This is an open community discussion. Let me know how you feel about what I shared and didn't share in the comments, and send some love to our new mamas who have babies on the way. If you're working on your registry for baby number 1, just know there is nothing better in the whole entire world than this baby that is coming for you. I pray it is just the sweetest experience. Soak it all in. Being a mom is the best. It's the best. You are in for the absolute greatest joy of your life, and I hope you enjoy every second. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next one.